Live from New York. It's a show that was up late last night.
Man.
And you're going to see the repercussions of that. We are fired up. I had to get an extra bag of candy corn just to...
And
what a game.
We're celebrating
goodness.
one of the greatest games in baseball history, and
it's Brew's birthday.
Brew's birthday.
Oh, thank you, guys.
Happy birthday, Brew. I
Thank
gave
you.
Brew a full two-arm
He did.
hug.
Good hug.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I
You
gave it a
just said
like on
happy
Instagram.
birthday.
I pressed heart.
Oh, I mean, heart.
We are starting with one of the best games in the history of American sports. 18 innings before last year's World Series MVP Freddie Freeman walks it off. Game 3, tail of the tape. 6 hours, 39 minutes, 153 plate appearances, 19 pitchers took the mound, and 609 pitches were thrown. Brew, what was your number one takeaway from an epic Game 3?
I mean, look, obviously I could point out the boat, Shohei getting on base 9 times.
That's pretty good.
Freddie Freeman, Mr. Clutch, does it again. You can point him out. I'm going to go to the role players, though, because even though they have stars. I mean, they are star-laden, obviously. Mookie Betts, I didn't even mention him. Like, they have tons of superstars, but they are a team. And in baseball, that's what it takes, because the nature of the sport is that your superstars aren't going to always deliver. I mean, we just saw Shohei go 2 for 25 over a stretch in the NLCS, and now he's on fire. But, they had to pick up the slack when he was struggling. So I want to point to, a couple defensive plays. And it's not just that you have other good role players, but they are a full team in terms of defense, pitching. And look, Tommy Edman, second base. Yeah, this play in the 9th inning, it's a tie game. I mean, so this is not the one I was talking about, but it's the relay, 10th inning, tied at 5. I mean, that could have been the game right there.
Yes.
And great, they nailed him by a mile. Yeah. But great play. First of all, Teoscar Hernandez, then to Edman. I mean, that's just beautiful baseball, beautiful defensive baseball. And then Edman, the inning before, had made another great play. I get it that they had 2 errors, but these are great defensive plays. All Freeman's glove. Yeah, that is fantastic. I mean, to know that where you got to go with it, and then to be able to execute it. And then I'm going to look at the pitching, and Nick, you rightly pointed out the bullpen issues with the Dodgers going into the series. How about Will Klein?
Yeah.
I mean, this dude he spent much of the season in AAA, had never thrown more than 2 innings in a major league game, had never thrown more than 36 pitches, I think it is. Throw 72 pitches, which I love, because I do think they're too cautious with pitchers and players overall today. But this was a situation, it's like, look, Dave Roberts said earlier, we just got to go for it. And no matter what, and for him to go 4 innings, what did he allow? 2 hits, I think? Struck out 5 and no runs. That was tremendous. So again, just the team, and I hate to I'll be quick on this, because we're in New York, so you get the shrapnel of just the Yankees, who haven't been able to win a World Series since '09, have had great hitters as far as home runs and things like that. But even last year, we saw was not a balanced team in terms of being a great defensive team. Yep. And this is a team that does it at all levels. So that was really my big takeaway.
Excellent.
Yeah, so, I mean, Ohtani is the story. He set a bunch of records yesterday that some of them will never be touched. Reaching base 9 times when the previous record was 6 will never be touched. Because it takes the perfect storm of the longest game, one of the longest games in playoff history, and a guy who is simply on fire to the point to where they just have to walk him every time. And we'll get more to him later. But Ohtani's writing a different legacy than this game specific. And this game specifically, and I don't want to be prisoner of the moment, but I am going to be hyperbolic, but it's just what I think. It's simply one of the greatest sporting events and the greatest baseball games of my entire life. And Major League Baseball's official YouTube page posts the highlights of the game It's 33 minutes long. the highlights of the game is a 33-minute long video. And very often in sports commentary, I think people conflate close games and multiple overtimes with great games.
Yes.
So very often games are anxious and close, and I don't know if you'll even remember this, but when I was fresh out of college, Syracuse played UConn in a Big East tournament game that went to 6 overtimes.
Yeah, I do remember.
That was a terrible.
Was that Kim?
Eric? I don't know. Eric Devendorf was on the team, but
Syracuse won. Correct?
Syracuse won.
Yes.
That was a terrible game, but it was amazing because it was 6 overtimes and so close. If this game had ended in the 9th, it would have been one of the 3 or 4 best World Series games of the last decade. Brew mentioned it, but I just jotted down a few things throughout the regulation, if you will. First of all, you had a weird moment. The second inning, wait, did Varsho walk? He didn't walk? Oh, wait, Bo Bichette is now picked off, which could have been the biggest story of most games.
It didn't even make the highlights.
It doesn't even make the highlights.
Right.
Third inning, Freddie Freeman is thrown out trying to get to home. A great Dodger play. 6th inning, Vladdy nails Teoscar at third in an unbelievable defensive play by Vladdy going across the diamond.
Did you see the stat cast on that one? 1,000 miles per hour.
Okay, yeah, there it is. That play right there. That is
awesome.
A remarkable play. 7th inning, Vladdy scoring from first with one of the coolest slides you're going to see. Then, in the bottom half of it, so that was to take the lead. Then in the bottom half of the 7th inning, Shohei Ohtani sets the record for extra base hits in a baseball game, or in a playoff game, or he's going to. I don't know if that was the record or not. And hits a bomb to tie the game, right? 9th inning was the play Brew showed, Edman getting Kiner at third. 10th inning was another play Brew showed, Schneider dead at home. And then 11th inning, something that hasn't even been mentioned yet. Hey, Mr. Kershaw, I know you're one of the greatest pitchers of the last 50 years, and you're far past your prime, and you're almost an honorary member of the team, and you've never once come out of the pen in extra innings. It's the World Series and the bases are loaded. Can you get us out of it? I got you.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. That's innings 1 through 11. And then innings 12 through 17, it's just edge of your seat.
Yeah.
And then Freddie Freeman hits a bomb. I mean, it's just, by the 17th inning, I was exhausted. It was 2:30 in the morning out here. But it was, I lost money on the game. I picked the Blue Jays on the show. I bet the Blue Jays with the Chiefs. I had like a nice little windfall coming my way if the Blue Jays won. And I found myself when Kershaw was in, like, dude, get out of it.
Right.
Don't give up a run. Like, I was so wrapped up in the environment of the theater of the moment. I just thought it was remarkable.
When they put Kershaw, and I
was terrified for him.
Right, fantastic pitcher historically. I love his character, everything he's about. But I was like, it almost felt, and you got to do it, and I'm sure he wanted the moment. But it almost felt unfair, like
don't blow it.
You're putting this dude bases jammed,
just a single, and we lost the game, we lose the World Series.
And it would be a lot of people would look at him because of some of his struggles in the pro season.
Right,
but it was
let's
great.
Let's turn our attention to Ohtani specifically. He trotted around the bases and then just kept walking to first. First 4 at-bats, 2 doubles, 2 home runs. Next 5 at-bats were walks. The last 4 intentional. Okay, Brew, here, first 7 innings, double, home run, rest of the game. Intentional walk.
And that last one was basically an intentional
Yes.
walk. I mean, they gave him.
Did you have any issue, we're going to say specifically, with the 4 consecutive intentional walks?
All right, I have a few things to say on this. One, right now, it's in the rules. You can do this. And if you're the manager of the Blue Jays or whoever, you're thinking, I just got to win this game. All right, no matter what. I kind of look at it as like hack-a-shack.
Yes.
You are putting your team at risk by sending somebody to the foul line. He might hit the free throws, right? But I'm willing to take that risk. I'm putting my team at risk by putting this guy on base. And the fact is, it did work for them.
I would argue they should have started it 1 at-bat earlier. I was texting.
Maybe they win.
I texted
Maybe they win
Danny.
again.
I was texting Danny because I'm rooting for the Blue Jays. I'm sweating my bet. And I texted him. I was like, if they give Shohei one pitch to hit, I'm going to lose my mind. And then he hits a bomb to tie the game. I'm like, what are we doing? Mangini texts me, why are they pitching to him in the 7th inning? So, but go ahead.
Yeah, no. Smart, look, it didn't hurt them. He wasn't even on base when Freeman hit his, the game winning. It wouldn't have mattered, but still, game winning home run. So, that said, all right, that's that. The notion that this manager might, and I don't think let's say he walks him 75% of the time going forward. That is disheartening as a fan. Mm-hmm. I mean, and I'm pulling for the Dodgers. I love Shohei. I picked them and all that. But just if I have no rooting interest, I don't want to see the best players walk like that. So if he does that, I do think Major League Baseball would need to, and maybe I'm going too far because it's been in the rules forever.
And
right?
it happened to Bonds.
Yeah. But if they don't pitch to him for the next, if they go 7 and he walks 75% of the time, it is going to be terrible. I also think it sends a bad message to your team. It's almost like conceding, like this dude's too good. We can't do anything.
But what if he is
what
too
does
good?
that do with your team mentally? Well, that's fair. But what does that do to your team mentally? Does that lessen your chances even more of beating him if you are mentally defeated? So I just hope it doesn't happen.
Listen, it's a testament to Ohtani, obviously.
Yeah.
And here are the records he set yesterday. So yesterday, he has the most extra base hits, I think we can show them to you, in any playoff game, in any World Series game since as far back as the records go, I think, or since 1906. He got on base 9 times, the most in any game, playoffs, World Series, regular season, and the previous playoff record was 6. So that's the walks included. So he's shattering the record.
So the previous record was in 42?
1942 for the most times. That's the last time anyone got on base 9 times in any game at any point in the season. The previous playoff record was 6. No one had had 4 extra base hits in a World Series game since 1906. He did it in the first few innings. He was intentionally walked 4 times yesterday. Here is, in baseball history, all of the people with more intentional walks in the World Series in their career than Shohei had last night. Bonds, shout out to him, 7-7 games, and then guys with a bunch of World Series appearances. So this was aberrant and unique, and intentional walks are. There's only 2 people in baseball history with more than 300 for their career. Pujols with 316 is in second place, and Barry Bonds was 688 because he was just a different animal. And Wilds, you hate it, and I'm a solutions guy.
Great.
So I was like, here's the problem. If you're like, okay, no intentional walk, then you'll just do what they did in the final at bat, which was an intentional, unintentional walk. Or you just throw it at him. To another way, you'd be like,
you don't want to see that.
You don't want to see that. So what do you think? So I was like, what is the fix? Because we had Manfred on, Commissioner Manfred. They are forward thinking. If it needs a fix, what about this?
So I also have 3 solutions. So I wonder.
Would you rather? You want to go first?
Let me do mine because I crowdsourced mine.
Okay, mine. I just came up with it.
So
in my head.
I wonder if it overlaps with yours. Don't look at my paper, please.
I'm not.
All right. So I put up the tweet. You shouldn't be allowed to do this. You should only be able to do it once, and then there's going to have some sort of issue. So people are like, well, you're just going to, like I said, you're just going to have a fake intentional walk or hit the person. So here's where the best 2 solutions on the replies. The rule should be each sequential walk gets you an extra base.
So I don't,
regardless of intention or not.
I don't
you walk
like
me
that.
twice, I'm on second.
I don't like that because a lot of time, like Juan Soto, all of a sudden then becomes the most valuable player in the sport with no one ever trying to intentionally walk. So
it's a tricky, it's imperfect, but it's akin to you can only throw over to first base 3 times. It's like,
here's the thing. If I'm facing Ohtani and I'm really going to pitch to him, but I'm not giving him anything good.
Correct.
I'm not trying to walk him, but I'm also making sure I don't give him anything good. Right. And I walk him, but he shouldn't get extra
One
base.
more. This might be yours.
Let me see.
Shoot, I can't read that.
If a walk happens, then the manager has the right to let a bench player run for the hitter, walked, and the hit Walker stays up to bat. I don't like that either. I have the solution.
Why don't you like that?
Because to me that's too gimmicky. It's like, okay, this guy's at bat just keeps going.
And if you don't get to bypass me.
No, but the thing is that is pitching around
up
guys.
To bat.
So can I tell you what I think is a fix, KW?
Sure.
I think it's very simple. If you are walked and without ever facing a single strike, a 4-ball, 0-strike walk, the second one of those you get second base. If you never throw me a strike, that's what an intentional walk is. Because I do think that you should be able to try to get a guy to chase, make him see if he'll throw one. But if we have multiple at bats where you never throw me a strike, and we want to disincentivize it that way, that to me feels fair. Because I do think pitching around guys is smart strategy. I do think that you should punish almost teams or pitchers that can't figure out, the guy up next, can't hit lefties. So I'm really I'm not giving you anything. Like, it totally changes what great pitchers are if there's no idea of, okay, we're going to avoid this guy and pitch to that guy. But I understand your concern, which is fans, you should not be incentivized if you're a fan, you're just like, Ohtani's not going to get a single pitch to hit the entire game.
Yeah, I think your idea is a little bit, it's Dodgers specific, which is tricky. And then you get to see Mookie Betts, former MVP. Then they walked Mookie Betts, you get to see Freddie Freeman. There's some teams that are built around 1 star or 2 stars.
Right.
So just like, let's just put Aaron Judge out. I do like it. It needs to be a stronger deterrent. And yesterday, Brew, I feel like it echoed the tush-push controversy. We all know, it's a fair play. It's part of the rules. But all of a sudden, the chatter grew very loud because of something that seemed aberrant.
Can I say why I don't think it's that big of a concern, actually? Because we had 2 totally aberrant events happen simultaneously. That'll never happen again. We had literally the hottest hitter in the history of postseason baseball. A guy who in that stadium was 7 for his last 7 with 5 home runs and in that game hit more extra base hits than anyone of all time.
What if he walks him in the first inning?
Right. What if they walk him 4 times?
I'm not sure, but just to finish real quick. And then the game, it was 2 games in 1. Because nobody's freaking out if his 5th at bat they intentionally walk him, and then the Blue Jays win in the 11th. We're not having this conversation just because the game kept going.
No, I agree with that. I want to see what this manager does tonight. Like, if he intentionally walks him 3 times, that's going to be a problem.
I don't think they will intentionally walk him to start the game. I think that they will pitch a round.
Think so
I hope he hits it 500 feet then. All right, meanwhile, in Kansas City, Game 4 is tonight on Fox. Meanwhile, in Kansas City, Chiefs rolled to a 21-point victory over an overmatched Commander squad. Mahomes just 1 yard shy of 300. He did throw 3 TDs. Were you impressed with the Chiefs' win last night?
We're so back. We're back to where just play good for a half and blow a team out that desperately needs the win. Because that wasn't a good first half offensively. No. Patrick made 1 mistake. Travis made a mistake, and it accounted for 2 turnovers. Listen, fair is fair. It's 2 picks on Patrick's ledger. Patrick now has 4 picks on the season, 2 of which were bad plays, 2 of which were bad luck. But it evens out for the most part in the end, I've always believed. But it doesn't matter. None of it matters. Because now that we are in a post-tackle that turned the tide era, and that everything's all back to the way it's supposed to be, except with an added bonus. And the added bonus is that Chiefs defense got inspired by watching their star quarterback rip away what would have been a season-altering turnover, tackle that turned the tide. And since then, they have the best defense in the NFL. We can show it to you. I know that they're not first in any of those categories, but they and Houston are the only teams that are, first, second, or third in all of those categories. That is all post-tackle that turned the tide. So, since we are short on time, I'll just drop the first banner immediately. It's, best defense in the NFL if you couldn't figure it out. And then you add to it.
They're second in everything.
Right, but there's second or third and everything, but it's a bunch of different teams that are. You see what I mean? It's not one team ahead of them in all those categories. So overall,
a bunch of
there's a tad bit of subjectivity.
No, it's them in Houston. It's them in Houston that are in the top 3 of all those categories. And then, of course, there's, if you want some firsts, I'll give you some firsts, the Chiefs offense, which all Patrick ever needed was an offensive line he trusts and a receiving core that'll run the right routes. And even though last night they were without 2 of their 5 starters, 2 of their 3 best offensive linemen, didn't much matter after the first quarter. They lead the league in 28-plus point games. They lead the league in point per game differential. They lead the league in total yards per game. Even if we go pre-tackle that turned the tide, you guys love point differential. They're second to the Colts in that. Margin of victory, which people have loved in the past. The only team ahead of them in that is Houston, but that's kind of phony because Houston only has 2 wins.
Yeah.
So their margin of victory is kind of fake. And then there's Mahomes, post-tackle that turned the tide, which is he's back to being the best quarterback in football. 16 touchdowns, 317 yards per game, 4th in passer rating, 4th in completion percentage, which I don't really care about. That is all since the tackle that turned the tide, which means, once again, we have the best defense in the NFL. You have the best quarterback in the NFL. You're probably the best team in the NFL, bro.
Bro, were you as impressed?
I think maybe my standards for the Chiefs are too high.
Oh.
And it was the tale of 2 halves. First half, I was underwhelmed.
Yeah.
I was surprised that Washington was giving them all they wanted. Mm-hmm. And then the second half, I was obviously, extremely impressed with what they did. But the first half, I mean, Washington, I felt like, there was the play in the early in the second quarter where they went for it on 4th down, 4th and 1. I think we have it. 4th and 1, and Mariota throws deep to McLaurin, which I didn't like. I didn't like that play call.
Well, I think it was because the Chiefs were blitzing everyone, so he thought he had to get it away, and
they're going to blitz.
Right, you should know that. Right, you should know that, first of all, and then have a play that maybe gets the first down. Don't do that. So, look, I don't think they would have won the game had they done that, but my point is I was surprised that they were playing with the Chiefs throughout the first half.
Yeah, it's tied at halftime.
And then the Chiefs obviously rolled over them in the second half. So, look, they didn't play their best game by any stretch, and they blew them out by 3 touchdowns. So, it's definitely impressive. But I'm back to the point, which is good, where I'm surprised when Mahomes doesn't light it up. And I'm surprised when the Chiefs.
Well, I would say he lit it up last night. He had the 300 yards and he had 330 total yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, but he had 2, and I get that the second one definitely wasn't his fault, and the first one was a great play by the.
The first one though was a bad decision.
Yeah,
it was a great play by Lattimore.
For him, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks isn't.
I'd say I'll take that game from Mahomes every game the rest of the year.
2 interceptions?
Well, no, I mean that level of execution, because I think that game. I think
he does that all the time without the picks, though. That's
in my brain, I understand it's 2 picks. I think Patrick missed 1 throw all night. He missed 1. They had a drive last night where they gained 119 yards, and it all sets up, of course, for the Chiefs. It's just a Week 9 game, but it's very fun for the Chiefs to get prepared for the actual Super Bowl with someone else's Super Bowl. The Bills' annual Super Bowl is this Sunday at Highmark Field.
Interesting.
Yeah, and here's what's going to be interesting about it. For the last bastions of Chiefs doubt out there, no matter what happens, people are going to say it's bad. Because if they lose, it's bad. And if they beat the Bills, folks will be like, well, it always goes whoever loses in the regular season wins in the playoffs.
I bet they smash the Bills.
Really?
Well, you just think the Bills aren't good.
With the Bills.
But KW, you weren't impressed with the Bills before the Panthers. You said if they blew out the Panthers, it would move you.
I thought Andy Dalton was going to
blew out the Panthers.
Andy Dalton didn't have anything in the tank.
It's very
James
hard.
Cook is really good. Maybe I underestimated.
Cook is
that was
good.
a big James Cook game.
It's hard to argue you're super impressed with your Pats and not be impressed with the Bills.
Well, we played each other.
I know, and it was a very close, good game. That's my point. Is you can't be very impressed with one.
Buffalo. Lamar missed the Bears game, but looks to benefit from T7. Brew, can you remind everybody what T7 is?
The toy toss that transformed the tacklers.
It's taking
It was all about the
country by
defense.
storm, yes.
Yeah.
Brew, your reaction to Lamar being the leader of T7, and are you guaranteeing a dominant Ravens game on Thursday?
It just keeps getting better. I mean, I liked it when I thought it was Harbaugh.
True.
Then I liked it more when I thought it was the veterans. It's Lamar by himself making a unilateral decision. And they all took heed. And look at what it has wrought. The defense is back. Maybe not back to where they will be in a month, because they'll be even further back.
Yeah, further.
But they are back to playing Ravens football. I love this. And yes, I am now, assuming Lamar plays Thursday, yes, blowout on deck.
Ooh.
All right, they averaged 32 points a game in the first 4 games that Lamar played. Miami is a bottom 5 defense in terms of, or bottom 6, something like that, in terms of points allowed. Tua is having his worst season as a pro, really.
Yeah.
When you look, yeah. And so, and Miami is really bad against the run. And so it might be, I mean, Lamar's going to obviously, I'm sure he'll do some great things, but it might be Derrick Henry running for 150 yards. Because even though I would agree with you, Nick, that he probably isn't what he was last year or even maybe a few years ago, but the presence of Lamar, where the defense has to worry about him doing different things, I think that just opens everything up for Henry. So it may just be a huge game for Derrick Henry, but yeah, I'm thinking blowout.
Yeah, I don't know if the things in the locker room really affect how they play or how they don't play.
What?
But when you're when you're in a streak like they were in, you're looking for any kind of answers, and you're looking to make some kind of changes to make sure the message is getting through to everybody as to how important this moment is. And I do agree with you, Brew, that with Lamar taking the lead on this, there's not going to be anybody in the locker room that says, hey, we shouldn't do that. And if the coaches had done it, it could have looked like, why now? It was fine before when we were winning. This seems like punitive as opposed to something that's going to help us move forward. But Lamar doing it, I think, is a positive thing. And I imagine that them getting healthy, getting a guy like Patrick Ricard back, getting off the losing streak, huge, and now inserting Lamar into this mix with this mentality of really it's a one-game season, and the things that have happened in the past are in the past. They could easily get rolling and have 2 wins so close together. That's a big momentum swing, and you get the extra time off. So they could be in a really positive position after this.
I don't want to be a Debbie Downer here, but I'm a little disappointed in you, Brew, that you're just now finding out that it was Lamar, because I assumed you were a subscriber to Marlon Humphrey's podcast, and he in the podcast this morning said,
this morning it came
he
out.
said
Well, it was a late night
the
baseball.
toys were, I didn't say toys, the items were removed by what he initially called a top 2 player on our team, and then later he said it was Lamar. And so, but Lamar
Who was the other player?
well, that's I'm
Derrick
really
Henry,
interested.
I would think, right?
Or because here's the only other thing, because Marlon's on defense. Does he have like or Kyle
defense.
Hamilton, his fellow secondary guy?
Or was he talking about himself?
No, I don't think he was talking about
It's
himself.
podcast.
He
to be
probably
fair.
liked the toys,
And
though.
so, Lamar liked the toys. To be fair, again, if we're going to be honest about this whole thing, the Ravens punter or kicker, shortly before Lamar got hurt, right before the Chiefs game, I think, Instagrammed a video of Lamar in the locker room playing video games and saying Lamar hard at film study. So, like, the idea that Lamar was watching everybody play ping pong like you scallywag out here, I mean, that's just
Lazy.
that's just not true.
Get in the weight
now,
room.
if I wanted to be really contrarian, I would say, so this is another thing Lamar and Harbaugh don't agree on, because Harbaugh has bought the pinball machine.
yeah, it's gone
We
now.
know they don't agree on whether or not Lamar can play. And Harbaugh is now once again on the record saying he expects him to play. I think this week Harbaugh will probably be right. But I am...
That'd be shocking if he doesn't play.
It'd also be shocking because we're hearing from Lamar. Like, is this our first time hearing from Lamar since he got hurt? I think it is.
Yeah,
I don't think we have heard.
I would imagine they asked him, "Is he playing?"
Well, that's yeah. I mean, I didn't hear this press
I don't
conference
think,
happened.
remember, he didn't do the post game.
That's what I'm saying. I do not think
this is
we've
the first
heard
time.
from Lamar since before the Chiefs game. I'm very interested in a lot of things. The toys are secondary too. Did you hold yourself out on Sunday? Because I think it's from hearing what Todd Monken said, from hearing what John Harbaugh said, and from hearing the optimism Harbaugh had before the bye, to me it is, and I promise this part is not a judgment, it's just an observation. It is very clear to me that the Ravens doctors cleared Lamar and said, it's your, but obviously the doctors clearing you has to happen for you to be able to play, but that does not mean you feel comfortable playing. You can't play without the doctors clearing you. It appears to me for the at least second, if not third time when Lamar has been hurt over the last few years, the Ravens doctors are like, we think he's good, told Harbaugh that, and Lamar said, I'm not. Now, maybe the Ravens team doctors are overly optimistic, and Lamar knows his body, and nobody, and I am not, and I'm not even doing it like a wink and a nod, nobody doubts Lamar's toughness. You don't play his style of football without being tough. But that, to me, is a real disconnect. And if, Brew, you're wrong that the Ravens' season is going to turn around, when they are deciding what changes to make at the end of the year, I think the fact that Lamar and Harbaugh are never on the same page about Lamar's health is going to be a significant mark in the column of evidence as to do we need to make a significant change at coach.
Yeah, maybe you need to change the doctors.
Well, yeah, maybe, yeah. I mean, honestly, that there was something significant.
Quickly on that, I would say if they don't go on a run and they're nowhere near the playoffs, or just don't make it because they might be near it in their division, I think a coaching change is very much in order. I mean, this was a team that was supposed to compete for the Super Bowl. And it's nothing against Harbaugh. I think he'll get a job whenever he wants it somewhere else. But 17 years he's been there? Sometimes you just need a change. And Andy Reid was like, I mean, come on. So anybody, it can happen to anybody. So I do think that would be very much in order. Regardless of him, I feel like him and Lamar probably have a good relationship.
I think
he seems to really love Lamar.
I do. So I want to, and I know
he's the greatest of all time.
Yeah, I mean, he really seems to
doesn't seem like
be
that's
high
someone
on Lamar.
you dislike. When
No.
Yeah.
And I want to be. I do not think they have a bad relationship. I do think that Harbaugh clearly wants to build up Lamar and seems to really like Lamar. To me, there is a very clear pattern of evidence that they have a disconnect when it comes to Lamar's health. That Harbaugh is consistent. Harbaugh's never been wrong in the other direction. Right. I think Lamar might be out a month. And then Lamar's like, nope, I'm back. But there's been three. He's had three non-illness, not sick with COVID or whatever. He's had three injuries, all that's caused him miss time. All three times, Harbaugh has expressed optimism about when he's returning, if not said we expect him back. And all three times he has not been back when Harbaugh said he thought he was going to be back.
And when you're making the kind of money that Lamar's making and you play the style of football that Lamar plays, you can see why Lamar would err on the side of caution. And especially in a situation like this where he would have had to play on Sunday and then come into a short week. So I'm sure from his thought process, it's can I do the things I need to do, especially from an escapability standpoint, a mobility standpoint, to actually put myself in the best position to be successful. And I would imagine that factored in. He could have played, but would he have been playing at 80%, 70%, where he couldn't have been effective like he wanted to be.
Can I ask you a question about that? When you said when you make the money Lamar makes, in 2021 when he hurt his ankle, he had not been paid yet and was at the beginning of a contract, dispute with Baltimore. 2022 when he hurt his knee, he was in a real contract dispute with Baltimore. He was a few months away from asking for a trade. Now that he's been paid, do you think the team may be more understanding years back of a guy really protecting himself because he doesn't have long-term security? But once a guy's been paid and has the long-term guaranteed contract, does the team then feel like, okay, like if it's borderline, we need a borderline and it's a must-win, we're going to expect you to be out there because you've already been paid, because you have the long-term security.
Yeah, there is an assumption when a guy's got a long-term contract that he'll play through things that maybe he wouldn't play through if he was in a contract situation. But then from the player's perspective, they see it. They're starting to see it the other way as well, or they have for a long time, where if I go out and do poorly, I'm not going to see my next contract, or I could get injured in a way that affects me longer term. That the Baker Mayfield experience in Cleveland is a pretty big cautionary tale for a lot of guys, where he went and played hurt. They evaluated as he can't play very well anymore.
Some guys are saying he's worse than Kyle Trask.
And then he gets cut.
That's crazy.
You guys were jumping on me when I praised him for playing through it. Y'all jumped on. But the Kawhi Leonard, particularly earlier in his career, was a guy that felt like he had to be 100% to go out there and play.
And the Spurs.
And maybe, you saw how that ended. It didn't end well in San Antonio. But have you come across a lot of guys?
Well,
Lamar may just be a guy.
That's part of the draft process. Like you'll evaluate guys, and typically they're called track guys. So if a guy's a track guy, that means they can't play unless they're 100%. Because a lot of track athletes.
And I don't think that's Lamar. Lamar seems incredibly tough. He has a weak immune system, but he's incredibly tough. It's just a weird situation.
That's how my son feels. He's at home today.
Really?
He's 90%.
He's 90%.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.